It's 7 p.m. on Monday, June 3rd, 2024, and I will call this regular City Council meeting to order. I do want to thank everyone who's joining us this evening, and if Mayor Pro Tem would lead us in the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilmember Cedar and Councilmember Whalen are both absent this evening. Councilmember Whalen is not feeling well, and Councilmember Cedar has work. If I could get a motion to excuse.
I'd like to make a motion to excuse both Councilmember Whalen and Councilmember
Cedar.
Cedar.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Strader and seconded by Councilmember Peretti to excuse Councilmember Cedar and Whalen this. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried 5-0. No. Yeah, there's 5 of you. And we have no one signed up for citizen participation. Moving on to additions and deletions. Council, I just want to note that we inadvertently left out, we noted Tony Moore's public comment, but left out his actual email from the minutes, but that is included in the minutes. We put it in front of you to kind of insert into the minutes, into the consent agenda. So you could either make a motion to pass the consent as presented, or if you want to say as revised, either would work. Mayor Pro Tem?
I move to accept the consent agenda as revised.
Second. It's been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Whitaker and seconded by Councilmember Hall to pass the consent agenda as revised. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried 5-0. Did I skip over additions and deletions? No? Okay. Okay, sorry. It's moving too fast. Let's see. Tonight we have 3 agenda items for you. All, I believe, are set for potential approval. The first agenda item this evening is on page 13 of your packet. It is amending the fee schedule, Resolution 24-1971. I will turn the floor over to Director Madden, and then following his review, I will need a motion to open up the floor for discussion.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. The item before you tonight is an action item, as the Mayor stated. And this item, this proposed resolution incorporates the adopted storm development fees that Council passed on May 20th of this year. There are no other changes to the fee schedule at this time. A recommended action is moved to adopt the resolution 24-1971 and the updated fee schedule as presented.
Mayor Pro Tem?
I move to adopt resolution 24-1971, the updated fee schedule as presented.
Second.
It's been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Whitaker and seconded by Councilmember Hall to adopt Resolution 24-1971, the updated fee schedule as presented. Mayor Pro Tem, did you want to speak to your motion?
Yes, thank you. I know we kind of discussed the fee in the last meeting, and I know this is just the next logical step to actually put it in, and so why not?
Councilmember Hall?
I second that. It's been discussed.
Any comments or questions from council? Councilmember White?
Just to remain consistent with the fact that I was not in favor of this fee the last time, I'm going to be voting against this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. Any other comments? It is an action item. Are there any comments from the audience? Okay. It's been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Whitaker and seconded by Councilmember Hall to adopt Resolution 24-1971, the updated fee schedule as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried 4-1. Council, our second item this evening is on page 43 of your packet. It is a professionals agreement with Gray and Osborne, Inc. for engineering services to design sidewalks on 23rd Avenue. Again, I'll turn the floor over to our Public Works Director, and then following his review, I will need a motion to open up the floor.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. The item before you tonight is an action item. The city is very interested in continuing the sidewalk from 308 23rd Ave, also known as Kodiosh, which is approximately 300 lineal feet north of Diamond Street. We would like to continue those sidewalk improvements to Alder, which would link some of our at-risk communities and some of our low-income housing options to parks, city infrastructure, business center. And so this proposal in front of you tonight is to take the engineering of the sidewalk design to 90%. They would look at all of the stormwater requirements on the corner of Alder and 23rd. We also have significant power infrastructure that will need to be reviewed and designed appropriately. There will also be some acquisitions related to this. That is not part of this contract. That would be a city effort that would run parallel to this contract for 90% design. Gray and Osborne would provide all project management, right-of-way assessment, topographic survey, and quality control. This is a project that is funded in the Capital Improvement Fund 310. Recommended action, move to authorize the mayor to execute the professional service agreement with Gray and Osborne, Inc. for engineering services to design 23rd Avenue sidewalk in an amount not to exceed $48,000.
Councilmember Hall?
Move to authorize the mayor to execute the professional service agreement with Gray and Osborne, Inc. for engineering services to design 23rd Avenue sidewalk, the amount not to exceed $48,000. I can't think of a better street that needs this. The street's not narrow, is not wide enough. It's a huge safety issue. I personally tried to walk that street, thought better of it, never did it again. Although we do have sidewalks now from the development, again, they're dropping you off into a narrow street. Again, I can't think of a better way to get sidewalks going on this.
Can I get a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Hall and seconded by Councilmember Peretti to authorize the mayor to execute the professional services agreement with Gray and Osborne, Inc. for an engineering services to design 23rd Avenue sidewalk in an amount not to exceed $48,000. Councilmember Hall, did you want to add any additional comments?
No, I think I said it. Sorry.
Councilmember Peretti?
Yeah, thank you, and I appreciate this coming forward. A couple questions on it. So property acquisition, so there are some property line issues we have going down on the east side through there. And I just want to make note, I drive that road a lot, and it's very difficult when the buses now are on that route. And you're on a car, and there's people on bikes, and there's people walking. This is one of those safety corridors that are huge in the city. It is terrible sometimes when you're going through there. That the three of you, a pedestrian, a car, and a bus, you cannot pass. So somebody's pulling in somebody's front yard or somebody's driveway all the time, you know. And so it's just one of those areas that really needs to be addressed, and I appreciate that.
Any other comments or questions? Councilmember Strader?
In this project, are we looking at widening that road as well?
Yes.
Okay.
I
think,
should have included that. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I think Councilmember Peretti asked about the expenditure for purchasing property, or do we have the right of way through there?
There are 5 properties where right-of-way acquisition or donation will need to take place. Once we start design, we wanted to get the design to at least 30% before we approached those residents. We will provide them notice that this is coming, but we want to present a 30% design to them so they know exactly where the sidewalk, to a certain degree of change, it will be located. But yes, the road will be widened, 11-foot travel lanes, which is the standard in those areas.
Have we reached out to those property owners yet?
We have in the past. We have not in the last 3 years, though.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad that they are doing this because I agree that it definitely is an area that needs it. And for such a small street, the amount of traffic that travels on that street, I think it's imperative to have sidewalks on there.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? Okay. It is an action item. Any comments from the audience? Okay. It's been moved by Councilmember Hall and seconded by Councilmember Peretti to authorize the mayor to execute the professional services agreement with Gray and Osborne, Inc. for engineering services to design 23rd Avenue sidewalk in an amount not to exceed $48,000. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried 5-0. Moving on to our third and final item this evening. It's on page 59 of your packet. It's an interlocal agreement for task force within Pierce County. I'm going to turn the floor over to Chief Hernandez, and then following his review, I will need a motion to open up the floor.
Good evening, council and distinguished guests. What I have before you for agenda item 6C is a cooperative cities interlocal agreement. The council has seen this before. Some of the newer members may not have seen it, but this is an agreement that allows us to be able to participate basically from Bonnie Lake all the way to Gig Harbor with other small cities, and to give us the surge capacity by providing a multi-agency team of highly trained responders and support resources which are specifically respond to incidences of more serious criminal nature or emergent need. Currently, special teams consist of the Crime Response Unit, Civil Disturbance Team, the Major Collision Response Team, and we have put a caveat in there that all other multi-jurisdictional teams may be created to meet future needs of the signatory agencies. And so I'm asking, and my recommendation is to council that we approve this interlocal agreement because it serves a greater purpose for the city, as well as participating with our regional partners.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you. I move to approve the Cooperative Cities Interlocal Agreement as presented.
Second.
It's been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Whitaker and seconded by Councilmember Hall to approve the Cooperative Cities Interlocal Agreement as presented. Mayor Pro Tem, did you want to speak to your motion?
Yes, thank you. Like you said, we've discussed this before and approved it before. Just for people who, if you don't mind, people who haven't gone through this before, what is the commitment that the Milton Police Department puts into the group, and what sort of benefits do they get, which they probably will be pretty obvious? Do they get, what economies of scale do they get from the other jurisdictions?
Well, for example, every time we have a fatality collision in the city of Milton, we've requested the special teams come out, and they come out and they do what they call a total station, which is trained officers that recreate the scene digitally. So for future evidentiary purposes, we have the ability to go back and view the scene as if it were the scene that happened that particular time and day and moment. We also, in reciprocity, will go to other jurisdictions if there is a call out. So we had two members on the collision team. Both of those members have moved on, so I'll be putting a new member on the collision team. And then part of the requirement to be on that collision team, the city stake in it would be that those officers have to attend higher specialized training to be able to do accident reconstruction. So those are the caliber of individuals that we're getting into our city and that we are going out to other cities and participating. And this was originally done to answer and give us the same level of service as the larger jurisdictions such as Pierce County and Tacoma. So by collectively cooperating together, we're able to do that and provide a high level of service and skill and investigative ability, as well as the surge capacity. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Councilmember Hall, did you want to speak to your second?
Well, as a police volunteer, former police volunteer, I witnessed this happen many times, and they're a good support on the structural part of it, but also as teams come together with something horrific. I've seen that be a huge advantage as well. Also, they learn how to reconstruct a scene, so then they become part of the solution, not just watching it. So I have nothing but good to say about this.
Councilmember Strader?
Chief, could you briefly talk about the cost savings that the city will get by having this team and where we would be if we were trying to support some of these positions on our own, and why that's such a great benefit to the city?
Well, being a department of only 16, minus the 2 administrators, bringing us down to 14, then 2 sergeants and 2 detectives, we really have about 9 patrol officers. So to be able to duplicate this kind of service, we'd have to have every member of the department trained in advanced collision, and we would have to also purchase some equipment that is shared, such as the Faro, which is the piece of equipment that recreates the crime scenes. And so the money and the savings is significant, just in time, resources, and equipment. Does that answer your question? Yes.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? Okay. It is an action item. Are there any comments from the audience? Okay. It has been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Whitaker and seconded by Councilmember Hall to approve the Cooperative Cities Interlocal Agreement as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried 5-0. Moving on to council reports. Councilmember Hall.
I've got a concern, and I've had it for a while, on the interurban trail between Porter Way and Fife. You know, they're doing the stormwater, they're channeling it differently, so they've got a huge pipe that's being pumped out, and they're taking care of that. They're there 24 hours a day, they're watching it. When they first started that construction, they had a fence, a temporary fence put up between the pedestrians and the heavy equipment. And when I mean heavy equipment, it's those huge dump trucks that are going through there. Well, I've been through there a few times, saw what was going on, and nobody directing traffic. I just turn around. It's not an issue. I'm smart enough not to go through there. Well, I was walking with a lady last Friday, and I said, well, I'm going to turn around because this is just not safe, because they're actually crossing over it, over where we would walk. She goes, well, I can't do that. My car's parked there at the Fife parking lot. So I watched her and made sure she got through okay, but I really think they need to be cognizant that people are using that trail. I don't know how much pull we have, but it's a safety concern.
Okay. We'll look into that for you. Thank you. Councilmember Strader.
And Anthony Moore's concerns about the code enforcement going on in the city, and I think it's just another point that that both Councilmember Whalen and I have addressed about how the necessary need for a code enforcement officer. So that's all I have.
Okay. Councilmember Peretti.
Yeah, I just had a question, and maybe our Public Works Director. Is there another overlay that's going to happen on Porter Roundabout?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. From the culvert south on Fifth Avenue and then along Porter, we'll receive another 1 to 2 inch top coat on the overlay.
Because I've noticed during the weather, there seems to be one area that seems to be collecting water that there's not a drain at. And I thought, well, if they are doing another overlay, maybe the grade of that's gonna take care of it, but it's right in that front portion when you drive in after it rains. It collects there as water, but there's no outlet at that point. But if they raise it another 2 or 3 inches, maybe I can see that taking care of it.
Okay, and that's at the roundabout?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Councilmember White,
Nothing for me, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Councilman, that's good. Mr. Madden,
Yes.
you brought up before about, did you mention when it came up about having a left turn lane or helping the left turns on 19th and Milton Way for like around, especially like in the afternoon I know the real issues with the buses. Did you say that they were doing a traffic study to determine, or had been? They're looking, because I know you'd mentioned that they're looking into actually correcting that. Because I know I ran into it, not literally, but encountered that a couple times this past week and went, yeah, that really needs more help with the traffic flow. And there, especially around the afternoon when school's kind of getting out.
Yes. The design is complete. Last week, we received concurrence from Pierce County Public Works, their signal department. They approved of our plan set. They are finalizing the specs to go with the plan, at which point we will be bidding the project likely within the next 2 weeks
Okay, good.
for bidding for construction.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Of course.
Moving on to direct reports. Manager Soniker, no? No comments. Director Madden?
No comments?
Director Simpson? Chief Hernandez?
Surprisingly, things have been relatively calm. I don't know if it's all the rain or, knock on wood, before the storm, one or the other. Just that we're preparing for Milton Days and we look forward to it.
And National Night Out.
That's what I really meant, National Night Out, sorry.
Only thing I have to add this evening is that tomorrow we have a blood drive here at City Hall from 9 to 3. Pretty low participation this time around. So if you're able and willing to donate blood, it would be greatly appreciated. My fear is that we won't get enough participation and they'll stop coming to City Hall. And I think it's really convenient for especially our staff in the neighborhood area. So just take a lunch break or take a break and get their blood drawn or walk across the street and get it done. So if you are available and capable, it would be really nice to see you tomorrow.
What was the date again?
It's tomorrow,
Oh, at what time?
9 to 3. And on the homepage of the website, there's a link for it, and you can sign up directly on there, and you'll see the available time slots. Given the availability, you probably could walk in as well and not sign up ahead of time, but you can reserve your time. So, seeing that all items have been concluded, I will call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any objection? Seeing none, the meeting is adjourned at, I didn't think that was right, 7:23.